Employment is central to the EU's vision of an economically dynamic and socially cohesive union. The 5th European Working Conditions Survey provides valuable and unique comparative information on working conditions in Europe in 2010.
The European Working Conditions Survey is the only survey available at European level that look at work in all its dimensions. And this is very important piece of information if we want to make evidence-based policy.
At Eurofound, we do this survey because we want to have comparative European data with regard to quality of work and employment in Europe. We want to look at different situations of different workers, different countries, what issues they're facing.
The data that we collect is being used by basically users on all types of levels. So it would be national level policymakers and European level policymakers, but maybe even more importantly, it would be people in trade unions and employers' organizations throughout Europe.
What we're doing at the moment is we're analyzing changes over time, and we're looking at changes over 20 years. And the first thing that struck me is that on many things there are no changes.
Over 43,000 workers in 34 European countries were interviewed for the survey.
More or less counter to expectation, the number of hours that people are working is actually going down. The number of people that are working irregular schedules is actually not increasing. We're talking about a 24-hour economy. And when we look at the patterns in which people do their work, they're actually fairly stable and actually tend to stick to the 9 to 5 days a week.
Work intensity is still high, but it hasn't been increasing in the past 5 years.
And this is where I think we're reaching a paradox. You know, we want more people into work, yet we ask them to work faster. And it's going to be difficult for certain groups of workers to live with, to work with such work intensity.
When we look at autonomy, we find that those levels have not increased very much, which would mean that there's a larger group of workers that are at risk.
The level of training provided by employers remains quite low. This time is an exception, and it's increased, and we're very happy. You know, it's good for the future. It's in line with all our objectives of lifelong learning, giving people with more skills, more competence so that they can develop, increase their employability.
Given the recession that has been going on, workers feel less secure about their jobs in 2010 than they did in 2005. Obviously, those people that are in more precarious situations, so those people in temporary agency contracts or those people on fixed-term contracts, are less secure about their job. Despite all the policy attention that has been devoted to keeping workers for the workforce until a later age, the survey doesn't really show that workers feel more confident about being able to keep their job or carry out their job when they're 60.
So the life course perspective is a very important element to make sure that workers would be able to work until a later age and not retire early, because that is a little bit what is the situation in some of the countries and for some groups of workers.
There are 235 million people at work. It is important that we know what's really happening at the workplace, what's really happening for workers, so that we can design policies that are relevant, design policies that are meaningful and that are tackling the real issues.
To find out more about the European Working Conditions Survey, go to www.eurofound.europa.eu.